I'm back in San Francisco, which makes it a perfect time for a cheesesteak review. Had to compare what Philadelphia had to offer with what San Francisco had to offer. Well, of course, we talk some 49ers. How did the 49ers do that defensively against the Philadelphia Eagles? By the way, this is the Francis Ford Coppola building right behind me, director of The Godfather. Some cool little history in San Francisco. But the strategy the 49ers brought to the table in this game was fascinating. Nick Bosa talked about it in the locker room after the game. He said the 49ers weren't going for the sack record. They weren't glory chasing, stat padding. They decided that they wanted to constrain the pocket as a team in a disciplined fashion so that Jalen Hurts couldn't get away and run because he was a top 3 quarterback in terms of rushing efficiency. So the 49ers only had 3 sacks and 2 of them went to Javon Kinlaw. 1 went to Kalia Davis. Meanwhile, they had 46 pressures. Bosa led the way in pressures. Javon Hargrave was pressuring a lot. Chase Young had 7 pressures, but the sacks went to the lesser-known guys. And the lesser-known guys got some love from Nick Bosa in the locker room afterward. He went up and gave Kalia Davis a big hug, his first career sack in his first career game, NFL game, second season coming back from that ACL injury. And then, of course, Javon Kinlaw with his 2 sacks. He returned to Philadelphia where he didn't play last year and got the job done this time around. The 49ers strategy would only work if they trusted their coverage. And there was reason to believe the 49ers defensive backs could excel in this football game. Last year, you saw Charvarius Ward and Diamo Lenore combine to allow only 2 catches for 16 yards against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. That made the 49ers believe that they could rush with more discipline. They could trust their coverage to hold up longer on the back end. And boy, what a job did everybody do. Ambry Thomas, you can't say enough about him. He's been the 5th highest graded corner in the league. 5th highest in the league. Jalen Johnson is the type of corner that's number 1 at top of that list. Ambry Thomas, number 5 ever since he took over as the 49ers outside corner following the bye week. Allowed Diamo Lenore to move inside, decleat DeAndre Swift in that game, and then Charvarius Ward leads the league in pass breakups. Leads all corners, all DBs, 15 pass breakups. When you have this many DBs playing well, you got to give credit to Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks is the defensive coordinator the 49ers brought in to make that defensive backfield sing, make it better. And there have been some growing pains for sure, but I think Steve Wilks has undeniably gotten that job done. Those DBs are playing better now. They're playing top-level football right now, and the 49ers defense is singing as a result. Anyway, cheesesteak test. You might have seen the place that I went to in Philadelphia. It was called Woodrow's. I decided against Geno's and Pat's, those old places, the tourist traps. They're not very good. I went to one of them after the NFC Championship game. So this new age place, they actually had in the Cheese Whiz, which I get it. It's going to be really polarizing. They mix truffle into the Cheese Whiz. But Cheese Whiz is still Cheese Whiz. It's not for the faint of heart. It's liquid cheese. And you know, you're kind of dealing with this cheesesteak and it's messy and you're afraid to bite into it. And I bit into it and it was truffle with the cheese and the steak, and it was good. But then, you know, the oldest cheesesteak shop in San Francisco is in North Beach. It's called Buster's. And they don't mess with Cheese Whiz in California because we like quality ingredients out here. And they just put some provolone in it, so it was just the provolone, onions, and the steak. And I tell you what, the bread was a lot better here in San Francisco. The San Francisco cheesesteak really stands up to the Philadelphia cheesesteak. I hate to say it, Philly, but San Francisco's got better ingredients, especially for a simple food like cheesesteaks. Ingredients make all the difference. Kind of like the 49ers have better players than the Eagles, and that's what made all the difference in Sunday's game. And those players were actually available in Sunday's game for the 49ers. I'm talking about Brock Purdy. So 49ers have won the football wars against Philadelphia, and they have also won the cheesesteak wars against Philadelphia with the standard provolone ingredient.